Breaking today, the British monarchy fights back. After months of negative headlines and suggestions that it's all over, after months of appalling behaviour by Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, who insist that they didn't watch the King's historic speeches last night, the Prince and Princess of Wales have shown us the future, celebrating 15 years of marriage by releasing a beautiful new image of their pitch-perfect family.
What happens when silence turns into a powerful response no one expected? Just when it seemed like the tension couldn't get any deeper, everything shifted in a single moment that caught the world off guard. William and Charles finally reacted, and what followed left Harry completely stunned. This wasn't just another headline, it was a turning point that no one saw coming. For months, the British monarchy looked like it was trapped in a cycle of bad headlines. Every week seemed to bring another distraction, another controversy, another argument about relevance. But then, almost suddenly, the tone changed. King Charles appeared on the world stage, William and Catherine released a warm family portrait, and the entire institution seemed to remind people of something important. The monarchy is not finished. It still knows how to perform power, dignity, and continuity when the moment demands it. The timing could not have been better. After endless noise surrounding Harry and Meghan, the working royals delivered something completely different. No emotional interview, no complaint, no rebrand, no dramatic announcement, just duty, diplomacy, and one carefully chosen family image that said more than any statement ever could. King Charles's speeches became the center of the week. His address to Congress carried weight because it was not just ceremonial. It touched on values, alliances, responsibility, and the importance of America's word in the world. Some critics felt it crossed close to political territory, and that criticism is worth acknowledging. A constitutional monarch must always be careful, but Charles did what he has often done best. He spoke in principle, not party politics. He talked about checks and balances. He talked about NATO. He talked about Ukraine. He talked about credibility. And without naming anyone directly, he made the audience think. That is the royal method at its most effective. Not shouting, not accusing, not entering the political fight openly. Instead, Charles used history and tradition to make a broader point about leadership. The message was polished but clear. Power must answer to responsibility. Then came the state dinner, and that was where Charles truly shined. The tone was warmer, lighter, and more personal. He showed humor, timing, and a kind of relaxed confidence that only comes from decades of public life. His jokes landed, his references to shared history worked, and his interaction with Donald Trump showed that Charles understands diplomacy not only as policy, but as theater. Trump is not an easy figure to manage in a formal setting. He goes off script. He makes unexpected comments. He turns moments into personal exchanges. But Charles handled it with grace. He allowed warmth without losing control. He allowed humor without becoming casual. That balance is not easy, and it mattered. Because this visit was not just about one speech or one dinner. It was about proving that the monarchy still has diplomatic value. Charles showed that a king can act as a bridge between nations, not through elected power, but through symbolic authority. That is the kind of influence no politician can fully replicate. At the same time, William and Catherine released their anniversary photograph, and in many ways, that image may have been just as powerful as the speeches. It showed a family, not a brand, not a campaign, not a performance. A family. William, Catherine, their children, and the dogs. The setting looked relaxed, personal, and genuine. Catherine looked healthy and calm. William looked grounded. George, Charlotte, and Louis looked like children being allowed to exist naturally, not props being pushed into a public narrative. That is why the image worked so well. It did not appear to be trying too hard. And in public life, especially royal public life, that matters enormously. The inclusion of the dogs was especially telling. It gave the photograph warmth. It made the family look lived in, not staged. A carefully managed royal photo can often feel stiff, but this one felt softer. It gave the public just enough access to feel included, without making the children look exposed. That is the balance William and Catherine understand very well. They protect their children, but they do not hide them completely. They share moments, but not constantly. They allow the public to feel invested, but not entitled. And because those glimpses are rare, they carry more emotional value when they arrive. This is where the contrast with Harry and Meghan becomes unavoidable. Their public image often feels more managed, more commercial, more tied to timing and personal messaging. Even when the content is warm, the frame around it can feel strategic. A photo becomes part of a brand. A family moment becomes part of a wider narrative. The public senses that. With William and Catherine, the message was simpler. Here we are. We are still here. The future is stable. That is powerful because it requires no explanation. Then came the reported Sussex response. Harry and Meghan allegedly did not watch the King's speech. Not live, not later, not at all. And that claim, whether true or not, created its own problem, because if someone truly has moved on, they usually do not need to brief the world that they have moved on. Indifference does not require publicity. Silence would have said more. Instead, the briefing made them part of the story again. That is the pattern people are beginning to notice. Whenever the working royals have a strong week, Harry and Meghan somehow re-enter the conversation. Sometimes through a statement, sometimes through a source, sometimes through timing that feels too precise to be accidental. The message is always similar. We are separate. We do not need them. We are moving forward. Yet the act of saying it so often weakens the claim, because their public value still comes from royal association. Their titles matter. Their platform was built from royal identity. Their media deals, interviews, speaking opportunities, and brand visibility all flow from the fact that they are connected to the House of Windsor. To claim they no longer need the institution while continuing to benefit from that connection creates a contradiction the public can see, and this week made that contradiction sharper than ever. On one side, Charles was representing Britain before the world. William and Catherine were presenting the future with quiet confidence. On the other side, Harry and Meghan were reportedly briefing that they were not watching. That contrast told its own story. One side serving, one side reacting, one side building continuity, one side trying to control perception. This does not mean the monarchy is perfect. It is not. It has serious challenges. Charles's health remains a concern. Andrew remains a stain on the institution. Public support cannot be taken for granted. Younger generations are more skeptical. The monarchy still has to justify its relevance in a modern democratic society. But this week showed something important. When the working royals perform well, they can still generate genuine affection, not forced affection, not paid attention. Real warmth. Charles received praise because he appeared statesmanlike. William and Catherine received warmth because their family image felt authentic. The monarchy gained ground because it did what it is designed to do, represent continuity. That word matters. Continuity is the monarchy's greatest asset. Not glamour, not scandal, not celebrity. Continuity. The ability to link past, present, and future in a way that feels emotionally meaningful to people. Charles did it through history and diplomacy. William and Catherine did it through family. Together, they created a week that felt unusually strong, and that is why the Sussex briefing landed so poorly. It felt small compared to the scale of the moment. While the monarchy was operating on the world stage, the response from Montecito sounded like an attempt to interrupt applause from across the room. The public noticed. The more Harry and Meghan insist they are finished with the royal system, the more obvious it becomes that the system remains central to their story. Truly independent figures do not need to constantly define themselves against what they left behind. The monarchy's response was not dramatic. It did not attack them. It did not issue a rebuttal. It simply moved forward. That may be the most effective response of all. Because the monarchy does not win by arguing like celebrities. It wins by outlasting noise. It wins by showing up. It wins through ceremony, service, patience, and carefully timed moments that remind people why the institution still exists. This week was one of those moments. A king at Congress, a king at a state dinner, a future king and queen sharing a family photograph. A public reminded that the story continues. That is why this matters. Not because one week can solve every problem, but because one strong week can reset the atmosphere. It can remind people that beneath the gossip and criticism, the monarchy still has a working core. It still has discipline, it still has symbolism, and it still has a future that people can picture. That future is William and Catherine. Their photograph did not need to say that directly. It simply showed it. A couple married for 15 years, 3 children, a family that has come through illness, scrutiny, and pressure still standing together. That image was not just personal, it was institutional. It said the line continues. It said the next chapter is ready. It said the monarchy is older than any scandal around it. And perhaps that is why the week felt so significant. After months of people as king, whether the monarchy was weakening, the answer came not through argument, but through performance. Charles performed the role of king. William and Catherine performed the role of future. And the Sussexes, by insisting they were not watching, revealed that they were still measuring themselves against both. In the end, the monarchy did not fight back with outrage. It fought back with competence, with a speech, with a dinner, with a photograph, with continuity, and sometimes that is enough. Did anyone see this coming? Or was this a long time brewing behind the scenes? Was William and Charles's response justified, or did Harry get blindsided? And where does the royal family go from here? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more shocking royal updates. See you in the next one.